Hello, beautiful beings. Thank you for joining me. I'm going into a presentation on contact and how it works. Though it may not be physical the way that most people would think about it in terms of a craft landing and a being getting out, but predominantly it is done beyond the five senses. And so in this presentation, I want to take you through some evidence, ideas, that's really just I'm wanting to give you food for thought to contemplate and think about a few things, and even some tips and tools to implement yourself to assist you. And what this is about is not only just contact with otherworldly beings. That is a conduit that eventually leads one to consciousness and connecting to the God within, that inner part of you that is a cell of God's body, in my opinion. Now, for those of you that don't know me, I'm somebody that's been having contact most of my life, and for around 12 years now has been filming it on a regular basis. Not that that matters. A lot of the stuff that happens that I can't capture is really the amazing stuff. And like I say to people, when they ask me, how do you know if this is positive or negative? Well, just like with the presentation today, it's the fruit of the information from the experience. And I don't want this to be entertainment, I want this to be education. So without further ado, I just want to show a quick video clip that I made recently that is showing just a very small thumbnail sketch of the documented contact that I've had, at least over the last 12 years, give or take. But again, it's been a lifelong thing. So here we go. So there's physical contact, but there's also non-physical contact, and that is predominantly the contact that is happening, and I believe everyone is having contact on a regular basis. I believe that most of us, if not, like I would nearly say everyone, has lived lives on other planets, in other star systems, in other galaxies, and complete different realms. Why I'm saying this is because we've all got in our light body, which is the non-physical aspect of us, we've got what I say is waves of information within it. But each wave stores information from different lives that make us who we are. We might all look the same, you know, there is skin colour differences, eyes, hair colour differences, but there's something in us that makes us completely different from each other, and that's from other lives that we've had. Now, the only time that I find that that isn't the case is when beings have come directly here from what I call God Source Creator. They haven't incarnated anywhere else before. In those cases, from the knowledge that I've got, that soul will download information of other people's lives as basically a type of template to assist them with incarnating, let's say, straight here on Earth, going from a God state consciousness. So there is physical contact, but there's also non-physical contact. And like I said, you know, I think everyone's having experiences, but because they can't see, touch, taste, smell them, or we could say get external validation for them, they display the contact of as thoughts, ideas, and that's how some of our spirit guides, whether they're, well, it's really a conglomerate of extraterrestrials, ultra-terrestrials, beings that are beyond an extraterrestrial state, angelics, it could even be elementals, fairies, Bigfoot, it goes on, it really is that layered. So scientifically today it's said that we can only see a fraction of 0.005% of physical matter, and that is the visible light spectrum. So we've got infrared, X-rays, gamma rays, all these different things going out from that we can't even see 1% of what's really going on. That's scientifically today. And so through this presentation I want to take you beyond that, because you can go beyond that, and it's in ways that most are unaware of, really. I'll start off with the psychic senses. Now, we've got clairvoyance, which is seeing impressions, symbols, visions with the mind's eye. This can include in the dream state. Sometimes it can be like a movie is playing, so it's, you know, like when you have a dream, you've got these visions happening, but your eyes are closed. Where is it coming from? Well, it's happening in the pineal gland, which is actually filled up with calcite crystals that are rhombus shaped, and I believe are encapsulated in a water-type substance that's encapsulated, which all that is inside material that's very similar to the cones and rods in your eyes. And there is a process that, what they know scientifically, is when there's pressure given to it, there is a piezoelectric effect. Now, I can't prove this, but what I believe is that when that pressure and the piezoelectric effect happens, I believe it ignites a on switch between what I say is the biological computer and the light body, which is really software information that interfaces with the wireless internet. I'm using analogies here as God Source Creator. And what happens is, not just with God Source Creator, everything within it. And what your intention or what you're resonating at or what comes into your frequency field is what comes on the television screen, the mind's eye. We've also got clairsentience, feeling. So feelings, impressions, insight and or communication can happen that way through feelings, very important. Clairaudience, hearing. So this is where you can perceive sounds, noises, words, communication from a past loved one, an otherworldly being. Claircognizance, knowing, a knowingness of something to be true but you're not sure how. So it can be like a download, a knowledge bomb, I say. Clairscent, smelling. So this is where you gain insights through the perception of smell, scents, which are perceived psychically through smell. So it could be that a past loved one that's not with you anymore in physical form, they may have loved a certain, let's say, food, and you can smell that at times and feel an energy, and that would be them around, sort of like a way that they can get through to you. So there's many ways that beings can interface with us. We've got clairgustance as well, tasting. This is where you can get a taste or a sense of a taste, whether it's from an event, something like a past loved one, love to eat, drink, very similar thing again. Clairtangency, touch, psychometry, where you can glean information, facts from touching an object or someone. You can't think when you're going into these states of consciousness. Now, you will be right and wrong starting out with it, going through certain practices, but what will happen is you'll start to find this flow, or you just ramble, or you start to say things halfway through the questions that you're thinking that you would ask. The answers come halfway through it. So you've got to kick the mental mind to the side, because if you don't, you sever the connection, in my opinion. And so this is where you a lot of the time won't know that you're right psychically until after the fact, when training is starting out, and then again, even after that, you won't know. So basically the senses are sight, sound, touch, taste, smell. But we go extra from that, and we've got feelings, emotions, thought, and inner vision. So for example, with me, if I'm interfacing with an intelligence, even if it's physically, I'm looking at a being, I'm getting visions, thoughts, and feelings, and it's flickering through the visions in my mind's eye, even while my eyes are open, interacting with that being. And I can project thoughts back, what thoughts, feelings, visions come back, project another thought, what thoughts, feelings, visions come back. There's even times where I may be filming a craft, and I'm actually on the craft in my mind's eye while I'm on the ground filming it. But once you get past that, you've got to realise that even extraterrestrials are on the Ascension path. If it's light, sound, or matter, meaning light beings, or even beings that are in a sound wave format, which is the deepest stuff that I could go into, I won't go into it today, it's an illusory state projected from Source's blueprint. So you're still not purely ascended until you're harmonising back with Source, to where there is no vibration anymore, because you're harmonising with Source. Dreams can be a form of contact as well as astral experiences where you're leaving the body. This is very common and happens for me as well. So there's many different ways contact can take place. With dreams, but what I say to people is sometimes what you're seeing isn't actually what's going on, if it is a contact experience or information coming through to you from your spirit guides. Now, our eyes can take in a lot of information, but what's happening is the brain filters that information, and then what we're seeing is actually what comes online. I believe personally that that's also what's happening with the pineal gland. You may see some far out crazy stuff. Sometimes it may be what's actually going on. But I think a lot of the time that the human brain cannot digest it because it's got no reference point or experience for what it's seeing in the mind's eye or in a dream state, that what happens is you're getting a screen memory, or you're also getting what I'd say is a made-up experience that's orchestrated by your higher self and the beings, bringing through a dream or experience that's actually symbolic for what they're trying to tell you. They can show it to you 100%, but the brain isn't going to integrate it. So I hope I'm explaining this in a digestible way. And also contact can take place through signs and synchronicities as well. 1111, 444, 333. These are very common things to happen to people that are, we could say, on a path, on a journey, on a soul journey to reawakening to their true nature. So physical contact, it does happen, but the non-physical contact is what I want to focus on here. Now, this is where we come to a tie and an interweaving of the paranormal, UFOs, near-death experiences, consciousness. It is all connected. There are some people in the past, when I've done investigations going back years, where they think that they've got a haunting happening, but then it sort of led me to believe that they were having ET contact. And then some people believe that they were having ET contact, but their house was haunted. And because they've watched Ghost Adventures or UFO Hunters or what have you, that was the reference that they had, so they sort of went down that path. And you'll get a lot of this, pretty much the same phenomena happening, whether it's a spirit, ET, angel, ultra-terrestrial. They can do the same things, moving objects, flashes of lights, balls of light. It's all interconnected. Now, what's part of all this is what I call the wispy stuff or the smoky stuff. And what's happening, in my opinion, is that the beings can't fully materialize at times. So what's happening is they're starting to try and vibrate with this reality that we're on, but they can't fully do it 100%, so they appear as a mist, a type of smoke, a cloud. Here's a photo here I took. I think this may have been, don't quote me, I think 2011, 2012. There was activity happening around the house. Walked outside, took a photo. And what this is a being inside a craft in apparition form, as far out as that's going to sound. So I'm trying to give some examples here. I've shown you a lot of physical stuff at the start of the video. I'm trying to get to what it's really like when they're not breaking through into this physical reality 100%, and what this predominantly is, this phenomena. Which it isn't really paranormal, it's normal. It's just because it's not on the news, or we're educated about it in school, or because people haven't seen it doesn't exist. Our true nature is beautiful, and there is a greater family of man out there. And yes, not all of them are enlightened or positive. And I'll come to that a bit later, what you can do to assist with being on a positive path when going into all this, because it is very important.
Perfect on camera.
Now, here's a video. I took this at East City Ranch, and this is actually a craft in smoky, misty form, in apparition form. People saw this with me. And there's an analysis done of it by Jason Gleaves from UFOnly, who's ex-UK Air Force and Aerospace. Now, here's a photo I took a couple of years ago. Now, in the original photo, you can see the footpath and grass down the bottom, but what you're seeing, what is it? A cloud, smoke, mist in front of you. Well, when you alter this, can you see something in it? And here's another photo I took here at the Sanctuary, at Jaya Sanctuary last year. This was in the stone circle, and what do we have again? A manifestation. I want you to make up your own mind, but it looks like it's made out of a cloud, smoke, mist. So in the Bible, I don't want to get biblical on you, but examples in the Bible of manifestations when contact takes place. So here in Exodus, then the Lord came down in the cloud and stood there with him and proclaimed his name, the Lord. Let's go into it a bit further. Numbers 12, chapter 25, verse 5. Then the Lord came down in the pillar of cloud and stood in the door of the tabernacle and called Aaron and Miriam. And they both went forward. Now, I'm not saying what I'm interacting with is God. What I am saying is that some of these intelligences, and this, we could say, if we want to say for mainstream phenomena, is very common across the board when you get to know many experiences, and you're having experiences yourself, of mist, cloud, smoky apparition forms appearing. Now, is this what they're describing back then? Because the photos I showed you, if you wanted to have a layman's way of describing it, it looks like a cloud. Here, when the priests withdrew from the holy place, the cloud filled the temple of the Lord, and the priests could not perform their service because of the cloud, for the glory of the Lord filled his temple. So you've got a description of God, and there's more than this, appearing as a cloud. So I don't want you to believe me. What I'm trying to do again is give you food for thought. That's all I'm trying to do. So if we go back through it, these are manifestations of intelligences that you could say are apparitions that appear like a cloud. Something to add here as well, going back quite some time, is the translated word of Buddha. So ancient contacts with the sky people. So this is from the links down the bottom there. So in Tibet, the translated word of Buddha, completed in 1411, tells of flying pearls in the sky and of transparent spears carrying gods to visit man. Tibetan kings came from the stars. Now, what have I been filming multiple times over the years? Well, do these look like pearls in the sky? Beautiful. What I want to really emphasize here is that your state of mind can affect your reality. And this is why being in a good space, happiness, joy, bliss, retraining the brain through self-mastery, catching yourself when being triggered or, releasing past traumas, wrong conclusions, judgments. I think this is something that everyone should go through, because don't we just all want to be happy? We don't want to be in a world where we're constantly unhappy and striving to get by. And most of that suffering people go through is due to their mindset. And so this mindset also has to be looked at with contact. And so recently I've just released 6 meditations. Now they can be bought on iTunes and other platforms, but they're also for free on YouTube, Spotify and other platforms. So if you want to support my work, you can buy them. If not, that's fine as well. Why I'm saying this is there is a meditation called Clearing the Space. And this meditation only goes for 8 minutes, but it's an example and showing you some tools in how you can clear your own space. If you've got negative thoughts, you're feeling sensations that you feel like something's hindering you or is attached to you, you've got some things going on in your life that can be sort of a lower vibrational type thing, clearings can help clear that. But also, if you're going to delve into all of this, I can tell you now without a doubt, you want to know how to clear and also be careful what you wish for and be precise with your intention. I'll leave a link in the description to the meditations on my website, and you can go about them however you want. And there's also one for initiating contact. So it's basically CE5. It's something, again, a tool to assist people with making contact. There's a clearing at the start that goes into a technique. But I just want to emphasize that being in a positive mindset is key. Because what you put out for, that's what you're going to interface with. Now, also with that said, I've just released the book of Shiji 4, Ascension. The first 3 of the Shiji series are actually all international bestsellers. And I think something important I want to quote from this book: nothing external, stocking up on things, trying to minimise the effects of the coming wave of change, which is already in play. Nothing but coming from a place of love, the heart, and operating from the heart space can assist during these times. So I want to leave you with that thought, because the heart is key to all this. That heart space, that love frequency, it is very much key, and I can go into this a lot further in other presentations. I'm also opening up Jaya Sanctuary, so I'll be doing small groups regularly throughout the month with events from self-mastery workshops, CE5 initiating contact workshops, different things delving into Qigong, Yigong, yoga, many different types of disciplines to help people empower themselves. With that said, I'm going to leave you with the trailer to a film that I brought out last year called Multidimensional. And I just want to say blessings and thank you so much for watching this and for your support. And remember, God's within. Don't believe me, don't believe anyone else. Use your heart as your moral compass and go with what feels right. And I'll leave it at that. Blessings, powerful beings.
What is this all about? Why are we being interacted with by this range of physical and non-physical intelligences?
My experiences started at a young age, and typically what people refer to as like the grey alien.
And his evidence speaks for itself.
The evidence that Peter was showing via his video footage of craft, of all different kinds of craft, it's almost like they are being told, it's time to come out because we're here.
Pete's genetics, they've been manipulated and they're different than a normal human. This has been happening to him since he was a child.
When it got pretty serious was when I started seeing what
I could term as like blue orbs coming into the house, floating around doing whatever they do.
Applying enhanced filters to the footage. Grey with large heads, large dark eyes, almond-shaped, small nose and mouth.
We saw that this was indeed an alien in his house, and there wasn't just one though, there was basically a whole crew of them.
We know who's on the ships. You know, begs the question is, why is this not available to the public?
It's crazy, but it is what it is.
The one we know as Pete is not so much one individual. Of course, the data reflects somewhat of a rotation of beings that can and do go in and out of Pete's body. Frankly, he's described as being an experiment, being a multi-dimensional alien type experiment.